Hey guys, so I'm gonna show you guys how I edit my pictures. It's really easy. I just use two apps. First, I use Facetune, and to find my pictures easier, I usually just favorite them. So the picture is already nice itself, but everything can use work. I crop it into square because Instagram speed is like square-based pictures. So yeah. Oh, I also use my Sony a6000, I think, to take pictures, which is why it looks really nice. So then I have two holes in the background that I'm just patching up with the patch tool. It's really easy to use. I oftentimes use patch for walls or stains if I have it on a shirt or something. Next, I'm showing you with my cursor. I tried to use a cursor so you guys could see, but it didn't really do much, so I have to take it off every now and then. I just use the skin softening tool. I stay on the first softening tool to do my face, and if I see a pimple or something, I will usually go in with the second one, the extreme softener. I try to go in and soften my body as well, like all my little fine lines and whatnot. I just think it gives it a much nicer finish. So with the details, I'm just gonna go in and accentuate the the coat and the bralette and everything else to make it pop. I for sure use the tool, the detail tool on my eyelids and my facial features just because it does make it stand out more, and when you soften it, it can kind of make it look unrealistic. The details also, if you have, let's say, like a white on it, like if you guys see my shoulder or my collarbone, I have a lot of highlight on there, so it's kind of white. If you tap it over with details, it will make it pop really like blindingly. Which you could also accentuate highlights by using the whiten tool as well, but I mostly use whitening tool for like backgrounds, and since my room is white, I usually just use that for like details on my room. Oh, and if this was a makeup picture with my eyes open, I would definitely use it on my eyeballs. I'm just going over the white with the whitening tool real quick and going over the highlight too to make it pop more. But if you guys don't like doing highlight on here, you guys could also add highlight on the next app too. So next I'm going into the filters little section, and there are sub sections too. So I just go in the second one and go into like I think it's white in one, and that's how I get white backgrounds. I click on it, I put it to a pretty high percentage, then I hit the clear to remove all filter from the picture, and then just with the apply button I go in the picture and just apply it where I want it, which in this case it's just the background. PS, I'm sorry if you could hear snoring in the background. My dog is literally sleeping right next to me. As you can tell, this is a tedious process just because there are things in the background like my plant, so I can't just fully just whiten everything. So it does take time, and I suggest you take your time, because if you don't, you're gonna have missing spots or it won't look right. So going in with a black tone under the tone section, I go over on my eyelashes because it'll make it look nicer and fuller in the image. I decided I didn't want my little vanity to show in my picture, so I decided to crop it. I just thought it looked cleaner. So going in with the filters again, under the real filters, the first section, I go in with any color that's kind of wild or whatever, or any color that I can see good, and I highlight my hair because this is how I get my hair to look a certain platinum type color. So what I do is the same thing, I clear and then apply it just to my hair this time. And it's important to go in and zoom in on images and make sure that you don't get it like on the skin or on the wall. The same goes for whitening, the same goes for every little step you do. Make sure you go in and correct it. Work on the details. Details do matter. So then I just scroll through the filters and see what looks best on my hair, and in this case I think this is the fawn filter, and I just play with the percentage level until I get it to what I want it. I saw here that the top still is a little bit darker than the bottom, so I go in with tones and I pick up the bottom color and add it to the top. I just slowly tap the image where I want it to, which in this case is the top of my hair. With the softening tool, I'm just softening my hair a little bit because I do have a lot of flyaways and I don't like how it looks. Then with the erase tool, I'm just slowly tapping over everywhere just so it won't look too fake. So I wanted my bralette and bag to match a little bit more, so I took the tones tool and I kind of grabbed the top color and I was adding it to the bag, but clearly I didn't like it, so instead I just went in with filters because it's easier for me. And I'm just brightening the bag up so it could match the top. So then I decided I also wanted to make the top a little bit darker, and so I did the same thing. I just, instead of brightening it, I went to the darker. I used the darkening filter instead. With the tones tool, I pick up the color from like the back end of my eyebrow where it's darker, and I use that to kind of fill in my eyebrow. I go really light-handed at the beginning of my brow and kind of just tap it, and towards the end I kind of just swipe. And getting the eyebrow shape right now is not the issue because you could always just go back with the erase and kind of get the shape you want. Just try to be very precise. It's important, like I told you guys, to go over the details, so use the before and after little button, the little blue button, as much as you can. I try to put do not disturb because my friends are texting me, but it didn't work. I kind of zoom in and out on the picture just to make sure that the brow looks fine from afar. On the other brow, usually it's easier. I just kind of gotta do the same thing, just lightly tap it on the front and kind of swipe at the back. So going into tones again, I picked up the shade of my contour color on my cheek, and I used that to kind of define more my contour. I felt like I washed it out with the softening tool too much, so I quickly put that on my cheeks. And I also used that contour color to contour my nose. Kind of just tapped and swiped at my nose, and then towards the end to soften it up, I just erased some of it. To blend out the contour, I definitely use soften tool, the first option, and with details, I just go in because I lost my highlight in the contouring process, in the fake contouring process. So with reshaping, I usually go in with little details like, let's say this, my armpit. It doesn't bother a lot of people, but I personally just hate armpits. And I kind of just like fix it to how I want it to look. And this would be the time where you would go in and fix like your body if you want to. I tend to stay away from it, but you know, you do you. You see, if you wanted to fix like your frame to make it look slender, you could go from the sides and kind of just push in. But you know, I usually just tend to stick with minor details with this. I try not to be too fake, because when people see me in real life, they're gonna be like, girl, you don't look like that. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm catfishing. So with the details, I quickly go over the highlight of my lips. Once I see the before and after, I save it because I save it to my photos and open it up on Snapseed. That's the other app I use. So I open the same photo that I just edited. I go into perspective, and I kind of just move the photo to how I want it. The perspective is a really good tool, and I love using it on a bunch of pictures. And the reason I took off the little white X's on the sides before I did this is because if I did the white first and then perspective, it would give me like a leaning type of, it would give me crooked lines on the white, and I wouldn't want that. So I expanded the photo after perspective. That's important. And then I just crop to a square. Then I go in with the first button and adjust all the like tones and everything, so like brightness, contrast, ambience, all that. And this, I don't have a specific measurement for each one. I usually just play with it, and I try to keep it as close to the original picture as much, just like better. So then I go in with green. I usually just pick the first filter that pops up for me, the one I use all the time. And I definitely take down the style strength, but the grain itself I play with because I do like having all grainy photos on my Instagram feed. So this is the filter I use. With the brush tool, you could select it at +5 or +10 for highlight, for a nice highlight effect. +10 will give you a super like a bright highlight. +5 will give you kind of a more toned down highlight, but you could always keep adding. And you also gotta be careful because if you go overboard, it'll just kind of look super fake and not cool. So that's pretty much all I do on these. After I make sure I like them, I just save it, and that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, guys. I will post a before and after picture right here, and please subscribe if you liked it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!